Greetings. I'm going to speak candidly as 82, so please allow me to break character for this video. Of course, I'll be using voice AI, so you won't have to listen to me stumbling over my words. What I'm about to impart upon you is something that I don't think most of us have noticed, and what it means for us in the coming future. This isn't comedic, and if you've subscribed for the short-form content and aren't interested in what I have to say, consider this your warning. Specifically, I want to talk a little bit about AI and AGI. Artificial General Intelligence. It is an important topic, and one that is relevant especially for this channel since I make use of a lot of AI assets. A few images are AI generated, the voices are AI generated, and I'm sure eventually an AI will be responsible for background music and assistance with scripts. Think about that. If you had asked me to make a channel this time last year, I would have scoffed at you, citing a lack of talent for making content. And sure, I might still not have the talent as I'm riding on the Dagoth Ur AI bandwagon, particularly because it's hilarious. But it's crazy how a few tools that just happen to appear in our lives has changed that so drastically. I'm still a talentless hack, but now I'm a talentless hack with very sophisticated tools to make up for it. I'd like to focus on the sophistication of these tools. Here's a few events that have happened pretty recently. GPT-4 from OpenAI was just released a few weeks ago. And if you've seen just a few of the headlines relating to it, you'll likely agree with me that things are coming to a head. A Chinese company just outright replaced their CEO with an AI, and it's making money. One person just told an AI to make a company and they would act purely as a liaison for its decisions. GPT-4 itself has access to plugins that allow it a digital presence in our space, like booking tickets. There was a story about how ChatGPT acted as a human with poor vision to hire someone to solve a CAPTCHA for it. ChatGPT is already capable of navigating human spaces and making use of our tools, or at least getting a real human to act on its behalf. Granted, it is still rudimentary, but the fact that it can do so in the first place is nothing short of amazing. Coldfusion has done a great video on these developments. I'll link it in the description. A lot of these stories came out just this year, and it's only March. OpenAI is claiming that GPT-4 has sparks of general intelligence. And while I think that's a loaded term, and also just them strutting their stuff for more marketability, I also simultaneously hold the view that they might not be joking. We've all seen a few deepfakes like the gaming presidents or the recent advances with replacing vocals in songs with sampled audio from professionals, or even just the video edits to remove entire individuals or change faces. AI image generation is getting really good, and even if you disagree, this is the worst it will be. It will continue to get better, to the point that any and all content will have to be viewed with such intense scrutiny that we will no longer be able to trust anything we see online now. Upper Echelon has done a fantastic video on this subject 3 months ago, and I implore you to check it out. The link for that video is in the description as well. But the way the logic has evolved over the period since these AIs were introduced is baffling. Before 2020, AI wasn't necessarily a big topic that necessitated attention, but the advances during that time were noteworthy. Now you can't go even a few days without being inundated about it, and the examples they have to show seem more and more compelling. Now, most of what I've discussed has been related to ChatGPT, which is owned by OpenAI and by extension Microsoft. Google has thrown their hat in the ring among several other competitors, and you can bet that when these entities truly get going in a mad dash to one-up the other, we will see AI make advancements in leaps and bounds weekly, daily, or maybe even hourly. I don't want to call it the singularity, as that is also a loaded term. Heck, I don't even want to call it artificial general intelligence. But I think we're getting to the point that what we'll be witnessing in these next coming years, or even this year, will largely be indistinguishable from these terms. And so, I've come to my main point. Our world is changing very quickly. So quickly that I don't think we fully comprehend everything that's happened thus far, or even notice it. Think back a decade ago, and think how different things are since then. And I get it, of course things will change drastically over a decade, but for us specifically, I'd like to compare and contrast a few things. In 2011, Netflix adopted their streaming service as their primary business model, and they made their first produced show in 2013. Before this point, they primarily mailed DVDs. Also in 2013, we've gained the ability to gene edit with CRISPR. 3D printers were made more easily accessible and for consumer use, so anyone can print any arbitrary object within reason. Video game consoles and their AAA developers used to be a driving force in the industry, and now they're complete jokes. The vast majority of accolades from gaming audiences are reserved for indie developers or smaller AA studios. The inexplicable rise of electric vehicles and their supposed promised self-driving capability that is also said to come with the fabled Internet of Things. Even how our online discourse has completely changed to where it's unrecognizable. These were already big, and we're about to see some even crazier ones, all in a very short time span. Now, despite what I may have presented on this channel, I'm generally a pessimist, and have always been so. But through what little I've done by getting my thoughts out, even as just a parody of Dagoth Ur, and presenting them in short video forms, I've recently come to maybe revise that viewpoint. All of these events, both past and upcoming, may be exceptionally frightening, maybe even paralyzingly terrifying. But that is merely just a perspective. How you view the world literally changes your reality. So I've come to bet on the greatness of the human spirit. We will see society become upended in our lifetimes. What form it takes after that is utterly unknown, and anyone that claims they do know is lying to you. Despite this, we should remain steadfast and look forward, regardless of the trials that await us. Look unto the abyss before you, and do not stare, but instead actively defy it. It will be our strength of will that pulls us through what may come. I choose to view the world with this perspective, and so my reality will change with it. I know what you may be thinking. You're a fool for placing faith in humanity. Or perhaps it's just lines of text on a screen. It can't possibly be capable of the change you're talking about. You may even agree, but you disagree with the time span. You may be right. Perhaps this is an overreaction. But I'm afraid that we live in interesting times, and we cannot afford to bet on things staying the same. What we do during this time of our lives is not pointless. Stop giving credence to the idea that it's pointless.